Did we have a motion to post the minutes?
I make a motion that we post the meeting for March 9th.
Fabulous.
Second.
All right, and then approve the minutes from last meeting. I know Bill sent those out earlier.
Again, I apologize for not superimposing them over the original agenda.
Has everyone had a chance to look at that?
Yep.
I know I typed them on the computer.
Well, Bill, are these the ones that you sent around today or?
It was yesterday or the day before.
Yesterday, yeah.
Different set than what I typed.
So I have no modifications or no issues with it.
No modifications here either. Move to accept.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. And bills to pay. Is anyone in the library tonight?
Well, actually, there is a bill to pay. Emily Stockman submitted a bill for $2,000 for the Eversource review.
Okay.
I move that we allow the town treasurer to release $2,000 from the 4453 escrow account to pay Emily.
I'll second.
Dave will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Financial accounts. Is anyone at the library to look at those? I don't think anyone went
Nope.
in there.
Yeah, nobody's in the building that I know of tonight, Amanda.
Okay, so outreach education plan of the week.
Actually, outreach, Mark, I'm gonna query you on this. What's the deal with MACC this year, Mark? Open your mic. Mark, there you go.
I think they're doing it over a 2-week period. All online. I haven't signed up for anything, but they're still charging the same rate, I think, but there's more classes offered online. And again, they're doing it during the week, not just on Saturday.
Okay, so if you go to their website, they'll have all the pertinent information,
Correct.
particularly for Kevin and David's benefit. If you guys want to check out MACC. I think it's .org.
Yes, MACC web.
Yeah, maccweb.org. That's the Mass Association of Conservation Commissioners. And there's some tremendous educational opportunities. And again, the town of Granby picks up any fees for that. So I urge you to use it for education.
The membership fee is, I think, $75. Are you saying that we would pay it and then we get reimbursed by the town?
No, I think Kathy typically will send them a check for everybody on the commission during the spring. So just send Kathy a little email that you'd like to join MACC, Dave. Kevin, you should do the same thing.
And once you're a member, you can sign up to these educational programs that they have?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I
Yeah,
think
they have fundamentals. They have classes on almost any topic, but they have, I think, 10 fundamentals classes where you get credit for it.
Great. I did go online and looked at it, so this is helpful to know.
and if
I'll
you go
reach
to
out.
the conference, you probably need to send Kathy a list of what classes you want to take.
Right.
So,
I'll reach out.
No,
to
she
Kathy.
has you sign up yourself.
Okay.
She prefers you get reimbursed after.
Oh,
For years, they always held it, and they'll probably continue once COVID's over, at Holy Cross in Worcester. And of course, I used to go for the chicken cacciatore. But I think 2 years ago or last year, when they kind of changed the dining situation there, and I don't believe they offered it, but
Yeah, cafeteria style now.
Yeah, it's not as good as it used to be.
How big is Bill?
I know. I hear you.
I'll reach out to Kathy though.
Very good. Oh, okay, Amanda, what's next?
Up next, we have notices, ZBA and planning board. I don't think we have anything from them.
Yeah, and of course,
Um,
nobody's in the building, so we'll defer that, I suspect.
Yeah, and then news and announcements. We just discussed the upcoming conference. I think that's all.
Okay.
And site visits to be scheduled. Don't think we have any right now.
Yeah, again, I appreciate everyone that went to the Noraki site visits a week ago Saturday, because we finally got those finished up. Those have been outstanding for, I think, over 2 years now. So thank goodness those are done, at least for
Yeah, I
another
never
year.
got a text message. I asked for a text message if you guys are still going. I never heard anything.
Okay.
Oh, well.
It was fun, Wanda.
We still have 10 minutes before opening the hearings.
Okay.
Can't do old business. Yep.
We could, but a lot of these are all things that we've just been keeping on there as our, like, on the radar.
Oh, all right.
Like DC Forge Pond, we have a notice for work maintaining the dam and getting it up to compliance.
Okay.
7 Phillips was a past complaint. 307 Chicopee was a past complaint, I believe. And same with Ferry Hill.
Yeah, Ferry Hill, they dumped all that dirt into the wetland.
Yeah.
Oh, we still are getting all that sand that's coming down from those houses on New Ludlow Road too.
Yeah, I
They've
know.
been dumping more sand into that wetland on the
Yep.
Ludlow side, dumping it in from that driveway.
It's also
never
filling up the brook on our side. Like, I took videos of just sand washing down the road and then just going right into the stream.
But that's in Ludlow, isn't it?
The stream is on our side.
Yeah, and then there's that's a stream on the Ludlow side too. I think that's getting huge impacts.
Yeah, they're both getting it. But one of them is our jurisdiction, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's on our side.
I called Ludlow twice and they didn't do anything. They said it was
Yeah, I
handled.
sent them videos. I sent them pictures and tried to talk to them. Nothing.
Yeah,
I
well,
talked to them, last year, I think, right?
yeah,
I
that's
asked them to take a look.
Yep.
That's Brook Street, near Brook Street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's the brook, and then on the other side of the hill. Yeah, because when we had that big rainstorm, maybe a month ago, I drove by there and I was like, oh, the rivulet.
And this could be a really wet spring too, Wenda. With all the snow melt,
Right.
Well, our snow depth here, Mark, is not that great. We've only got maybe 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground.
Wow. I've got over somewhere between 2.5 feet on the ground here.
Wow.
I don't know. I get close to a foot when I'm walking around.
Wenda, are you in Granby or up north right now?
I can't go up there. It's a 2-week quarantine. I haven't been up to check on cabin or anything.
Oh, you haven't? Wow.
No.
Can we talk old business a second? Can you fill me in on the DCR and Forge Pond?
We got a letter from the Bureau of Dam Safety that it's not in
Okay.
compliance because vegetation has been growing on the embankments. So they have been working, they did do some cutting, and I believe they're working on some different analysis phases for getting it up to code.
Are they going to submit a notice of intent or an RDA?
I don't
That's-
recall how we did.
That's not exempt. So let me fill you in on the regulations. The only time when DCR orders something to be done, the only time that letter would trump the Wetlands Protection Act is if they ordered an immediate drawdown. Then Chapter 253, which is the Dam Safety Act, that they can draw it down without permission of the commission. Other than that, the work is fully subject to the Wetlands Protection Act. So if they're cutting vegetation up there, it's either an RDA for minor vegetation or potentially a notice of intent for anything else.
That's right. I think
Does
the
anyone
big
remember
problem
what we
with,
did?
yeah, the big problem with Forge Pond is funding. It looks like it's gonna cost over $1 million to do what needs to be done. And we're kind of in the process of seeking a state grant to do that, Mark, and you know how difficult those can be.
Yeah, it takes time, especially now,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. Okay, thank you for the input, though.
Yeah, so, all right, so Amanda, we gotta figure out what to do about the brook then. Because so it's coming from that one driveway that's still not paved, going up to that house on New Ludlow Road. It's going both ways, huh? That dirt.
Yeah,
So let me give you a hint on these type cases. What you have to do to prove that the violation came from this particular driveway is you actually have to, the best way is to document with video showing sediment leaving a site and then following it all the way until it enters the resource area. So they're not the easiest to prove unless you're actually out there during a storm event and you can actually video track it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Amanda,
Good.
it sounds like you did that.
I'm trying to remember if I had it on video or if I just took pictures all the way up and down.
But if you take pictures and you document it, that should be fine too. Video is just better, that's all.
Could I ask for a clarification, Wenda? You're calling it New Ludlow Road. I believe that driveway, if I understand, because Bill, you mentioned Brook Street, which I'm familiar with that intersection, and the driveways are just up the hill there. That's actually on West Street in Ludlow. Yeah, and I'm
Yes.
familiar with a driveway there that's not paved, and there's a lot of debris flowing into the street that they
You're right.
constantly.
You're right, Dave.
So,
You're correct.
It goes all the way down to the brook on both sides.
and that's right, that it would drain into Stony Brook, which, if I understand, flow at that rate. Stony Brook is flowing in that direction into the Westover Conservation Area, which is, again, that's Ludlow. Goes
Yes.
through Wade Pond. I think
Yep.
it eventually comes back into Granby, way down by Dickinson.
That's right,
But-
Dave. No,
So
you're
we're talking about the same driveway, I guess, right?
Yeah, so is the brook near Brook Street, that's in Ludlow too. So none of those two violations are in actually Granby, are they?
None of them are Granby. That's all. And Brook Street doesn't turn into Granby till you go a little ways north.
Yeah.
And Stony Brook is flowing away from Granby at that point into the conservation area. Not to say what's happening is not right. I agree with you.
that's right. It runs south at that point. You're absolutely
And
right,
it's-
Dave.
But it's totally happening in another town at this point.
And again,
No.
you and Amanda called the Conservation Commission in Ludlow. So frankly, I don't think it's our business.
But you can still document it and send the information to me and to Ludlow, and I'll try to get Ludlow out there anyway.
Yeah. So I remember sending you pictures, Mark, and the
I remember,
telephone.
I
Yeah.
remember.
So yeah, so it's continuing. The same violation is continuing.
Okay,
Hasn't stopped.
all right, just get me some current photos or a current movie clip or something.
All right. Once the snow melts. I can see something.
Okay, folks, very, very good. Well, it's coming up on 7:30. So, let's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's get to Lot 4 Easton Street. If you
okay.
want to start pulling out your files, if anyone needs a second to do that. And
Yeah,
is Alan Weiss here?
I am.
Hi,
Oh, great.
Al, how are you?
Greetings, everybody. How are you?
Good, good.
Hi.
Yeah, just as a point of interest, Al and Amanda are gonna take the lead on this because Al's been out there, Amanda's been out there on behalf of Annette Comiga. So, take it away, Al.
So I did go out to the lot after Amanda did at Annette's request. And as many of you know, this is a lot that was Leo Fugler's and Annette acquired some months ago. I did some perks out there. The lot that we're talking about in question, Lot 4, is, in my opinion, out of jurisdictional areas. There is a wetland to the north and a very small intermittent stream, which I think Amanda saw and was concerned about, rightly so. But it's not mapped on USGS as a stream. It is not, in my opinion, anything but intermittent. So I took a picture of it and I can send that to you if you'd like, before all the snow fell and things froze up. There was a very small flow. There was no flow when I was there for when I did my perk testing. It was simply a snowmobile or motorbike type trail with no noticeable stream, frankly, when I was there the first time last year. There is another wetland across Easton, but that's out of jurisdiction as well, over 100 feet. I don't see any issues with this lot, but I'm more than happy to answer questions.
Amanda?
I mean, if it's all like it's not a concern, then that's great. I was feeling pretty good about it, but I wanted to make sure that
Sure.
if it was a perennial stream and based on bank, it wasn't where it's been cleared already. It wasn't technically within the 200 feet, even though it's on the other side of like the peak of that hillside. I just wanted to kind of confirm what the boundaries are.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it is. It is definitely in excess of 100, and it encroaches on the 200, I think, slightly, but I don't believe that's in any way, shape, or form perennial. So,
Okay, did you run a quick stream stats?
well, I tried to, but it's hard because, of course, there is no stream actually on the USGS until you get
Okay.
well south of Easton. So,
All
yeah,
right,
it doesn't seem to come close to me, to that jurisdiction.
okay.
I thought I had run it.
Yeah, I thought you ran it, Amanda, and had a tiny watershed. The watershed was significantly less than a
It's
half a
small.
square mile. Yeah,
Yeah, it's small. Yeah.
But the on stream stats, there's now a thing that says the probability, and it had said that it was.
well, it would
You
have to be
can't
the
use the
night.
probability though. Can't
Okay.
use it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's either, it must have both criteria, the half square mile and the
Yep.
0.01 cubic feet per second. Have to have both.
At 99%, that's right, that's
Right,
right. So if the watershed is less than a half a square mile, end of discussion.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In all honesty, I can understand what Amanda saw because it was right after a winter rain with frost, and, you know, the umbrella concept of frost,
Yeah.
keeping water above ground, it can make something look more than it is.
Yeah. Al, excuse me, Al, the time I went to the site, it looks as though the lot 4 had been clear cut in a rectangular fashion. Have the trees that have been cut, is that the limit of what you're gonna do tree work on that site?
I really can't answer that, but I can only imagine the answer being yes, because I don't see, there's one other lot to the
To the
east of it,
east.
and that
Yes.
lot just the same is non-jurisdictional.
If I could interject here. Annette is present, and that is the extent of the tree clearing. Annette.
Yeah, that's Annette Kamiga. Hi, Annette.
Hello.
How are
Hello.
you?
Yes, I'm well. I hope everybody is well. That's the extent of the tree clearing, and it just ended up being to that extent because a lot of the timber was very tall and would be a danger to falling on the house.
Okay.
That would be, but I know in my area I'll be replacing some of that hemlock just to bring it back to you know what it was before. But that's the extent of the tree clearing up here.
Okay, fair enough then. Okay, so let's go on the presumption then that the stream's intermittent, therefore the 200-foot Rivers Act is out of play. You're clearly over 100 feet from any resource area, Al?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so based on that, my inkling is to approve this without any further action.
Second?
Let me put it in the form of a motion. I move that we approve Lot 4 Easton Street without further action.
Okay, I'll second.
Amanda, any further discussion? No further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that's it.
Thank you, folks. Good night.
Okay, thank you,
Night.
Al. Thank you, Annette.
Amanda.
Okay. Now, what's next?
Up next, we have 75 Forge update information. Is there someone here for that?
I think that was a project a couple of years back, or at least a year ago, in which I think, given the fact that the lots on Forge Pond are rather small, I think someone had to acquire some additional property in order to site their leach field. And it's the Boschman property. I have it right here. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to read a letter by Christina Boschman, 75 Forge Pond Road, dated 28 January 2021. We're seeking to receive our approved permit for the septic system on 75 Forge Pond Road, so we can move forward and obtain financing from the bank to purchase the property and complete the necessary septic repair work. So far, we have completed the property. It's got a laundry list. The pertinent item for us is Conservation Commission approval, 14 July 2020, of septic plan contingent upon obtaining deed for parcel of property from a budding neighbor, Steve Polchapek. So apparently that's what we have here. So let's take a look at it. I think I sent this to everybody. You should have it on your computer. I don't know, Ed, if you're listening, Ed's a bit under the weather tonight. Ed, if you're listening, does this look like a good document to you?
Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Okay.
Well, it's a planning. If it's a conveyance of a parcel, he'll need planning board endorsement. So I'm not sure if they have planning board endorsement. Is it signed by the planning board and recorded at the registry?
No, it was actually sealed by George Randall, Justice of the Peace. And it's a quitclaim deed. And let's take a look. It's a local upgrade. It's a septic Form 9A local upgrade approval. I don't think there's anything to do with the planning board on this, Ed.
So it's probably an old cottage lot. It's become a four season.
Yeah.
Obviously, septic is going to have to be approved by the Board of Health, and if that's the only place they can put it, that's where they can put it.
Yeah. I'm scratching my.
Already approve it, but
Yeah, I'm scratching my head why we were involved with this, but I guess we were.
because it's still within resource area or
Oh,
buffer.
okay. Okay.
So like it still needed to come before us, but it had to be off the property. And so we had to approve it subject to their acquisition. And that kind of basically put it on them. Like they would get the permit if they got the property rights to do that.
Okay, okay. Actually, I think Al Weiss did this. This was one of Al's designs, and he left the air. So anyway, as far as we can see, I'm good with it. I don't know. Ed, shall we approve this, or what shall we do?
Yeah, I mean, if it's septic repair, probably got no choice. So that's probably the best location they could find.
Okay,
If they acquire the property, then if the title's clean, the title's clean.
okay.
So is the septic now 100 feet away from Forge Pond?
Probably not.
I think it's as far away as practicable, as they'd say. So I suggest we duly accept this. I don't know if it requires an endorsement on our behalf, but we'll just read this into the minutes as accepted.
Well,
I
do they
think the
have
question
to
is,
file a NOI or RDA?
yes, so they have a approval for an NOI subject to acquiring that parcel. I do
Mhm.
not know if it was ever written, the actual OOC.
Oh,
I just found the NOI in my email. So we do have
What's
the
the
NOI.
file number? Amanda,
That would be the problem right there. I don't know.
or what's the address again?
75 Forge Pond Road, I want to say.
When would you have gotten the notice of intent?
One second. We received it 5/28/2020.
I don't have a notice of intent for Forge Road. I never issued a file number.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's an RDA. I lied.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
That was my fault.
no
So
worries.
RDA, septic exempt from Rivers Act, 50+ feet away. And there is also a plan set included.
So you don't know if you issued a determination or not?
I think we issued an RDA subject to this condition, Mark.
Okay,
And I suspect it was a buffer zone, so it's probably a -3.
okay.
Again, I wish I had the septic design in front of me, readily available to re-review. And I also wish I had the RDA, but I don't.
I could just forward it to you
Oh, okay.
because
Thank you.
yeah, I have it.
Actually, let me go back into the Kathy folder. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are sending us these determinations, right? The Form 2s? I mean, I don't show anything. We've been scanning and saving all the paperwork that comes in, and I don't have anything for any determinations from Granby since, for months now.
I think we plead the fifth on this one, Mark.
Okay, make sure you send them in, even if you just want to scan them and email to me, that's fine.
Okay.
I think we're behind in paperwork.
We're very behind.
Well, don't forget, paperwork, the determinations are not even valid until the appeal period's up, and the appeal period doesn't start until we get the paperwork.
Yeah, I'm gonna read on 75 Forge Pond. I'll just read a little note on the work description. Septic system repair on site as shown on plans. Siltation control noted. Limit of work grading within 100 feet BVW buffer. 20 feet old system decommission and new well at closest RDA filed as requested by Conservation Commission and required. That's the way it reads verbatim. And now I'm looking at the septic plan. Yeah, they've got this system as far as you can possibly go on the property from the pond. So I think it's a prudent design. Does everybody see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that's his.
So if we have not done our paperwork at this point, should we just do the paperwork right now, Mark?
I would get anything and everything you've issued that you have not sent to us. Email it to me as soon as you can.
I just meant, I mean, yes, okay, understood. But in
Yes.
terms of this one, now that we have this final piece of the puzzle, and since we
Well,
didn't issue them the original,
If you've issued a determination already contingent upon this, all I care about is the determination itself, not on whatever decision you made tonight, because you issued the determination already, I'm assuming. So theoretically, anything you've issued that you didn't send to us and they've started the work is actually, could be construed as a violation.
okay.
So give me the paperwork, please.
Yeah,
Will do.
We've been trying to hire somebody. Hasn't happened yet.
How's that working out?
Well, Amanda posted the position in a couple of online forums, and I haven't been contacted. I don't think anybody's been contacted by any candidates right now as of yet.
Well, Amanda, if you want to send it to me, I'll shoot it out to a few people too.
okay, yes, will do.
That's good.
I kind of know a few people.
Okay, so are we on to our next agenda item?
Yes, please.
All right. Assignment CR co-held Granby Kestrel Land Trust. Is anyone?
Okay, this is the Kestrel Land Trust. Mark, have you been aware of this? Kestrel Land Trust is now incorporated.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this.
Not really. I mean, I follow some of the things they do just through the news, but nothing special.
So apparently they're asking us now to re-sign our original agreement with them on certain properties because they've changed their business model.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to answer.
Yeah, I'm the same thing.
We
Ed, do you
already
have
went
any-
through this in Framingham and it was approved like quickly because the only thing that's changed, they explained it, it's just they added an LLC to the end of the name because they changed the legal structure of the organization, but everything else is still the same.
Okay.
So it updates it.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. Let me just look at that real quick. Well, Scott Jackson's the president now. Yeah, this is book 11840, page 76. Again, I don't know which parcel in town this is. I have no clue which parcel this is. There's a bunch of them in town, but apparently now they're going to be known as Kestrel Land Trust, Inc. That's their new name. So like you say, Amanda, I think we ought to just agree to sign this or have Kathy sign on our behalf and to be done with it.
Okay.
So I move that we sign the paperwork to agree with the Kestrel new name.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. All right, next item. So, Bachelor Street, lot we permitted last year. I have
Which
no
one,
idea.
Amanda?
It just says Bachelor Street, number 4, Bachelor Street, we permitted NOI last year. Heather Comey and Al Joyce.
Oh, okay, that's the one. Someone's been calling me, and I don't know if she's on the phone right now. Oh, Emily's here. Good. Samantha, I think her name is Samantha Hawley. Samantha, are you there?
Bill, that wasn't dead.
Yes, Ed.
Yeah, this is the lot that's located east of Harris Street and
Yes.
just north of Tromke Lane to the west, or actually just to the east of Tromke Lane. I think he was increasing the size of the building.
Yeah, they want to do some, this is another one, Mark, which we get involved with from time to time. The original developer provided a footprint of a home and associated site grading for the house, driveway, and septic. Of course, the person that actually bought the lot wants to build a much bigger home and wants to put in some more sophisticated landscaping. So I guess the question we have to ask is the changes significant enough to require an amended NOI? So I think we should take a look at this carefully.
Is this file number 333?
Let me find out one thing here.
I mean, that was Heather and Mr. Joyce. Buffer zone.
But again, there's been a change to the property. Let me send something around. Just stand by for a moment. Yeah, here it is here. Okay, I'm going to forward this email to all the commission, and Mark, I'll send it to you as well.
Okay.
So you'll get it in about 30 seconds, so please stand by.
So Bill, was this a formal request to amend the order? Because the agenda item doesn't state that.
No, I think what we're going to do is the commission's going to discuss this right now and discuss whether or not it's a de minimis change.
Minor plan change.
Require, yeah. Let me just see if I can forward this
Okay.
to somebody here. Unfortunately, there's about 9 attachments, so this might take a while to get through. Let me see what happens here. Okay, Amanda, Ed, Wenda, Dave, and Kevin, and Mark. Okay. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Now, let's just make sure we all got this. Now, hopefully all the files came through.
I'm looking at.
Okay. So you'll see that they changed the size of the house, which is not unanticipated, but they've changed some of the grading. Okay. Yeah, there's two little sketches at the bottom. One's entitled 202-10208-_18, and the other one is _20.
Oh, is this that one that was kind of sandwiched in there on a little hillside?
Yeah, this is the one where we made them put in a double culvert to cross a little dry swale.
I don't think there was any more room to put anything bigger in there.
Well, take a look at these drawings.
So they're making it 53 and 43.
64, I think.
64, okay. There's a 53 and a 43 on there.
Yeah,
That's right.
Unfortunately, we really kind of have to read the entire information train, and it's fairly lengthy. Yeah, they want to do a 64 by 40 house rather than the 53 by 30. And then they want to do a little bit of grading around the house. And again, as long as there's no peril to the wetland, I don't see any reason we shouldn't approve this. If there is peril to the wetland, then we ought to take a closer look.
The challenge I have with the sketch, Bill, is they're showing a larger footprint for the building without changing the grading. And your question about will it imperil the wetland, without knowing the grading, it's impossible for us to guess where that new grading is going to be, because they're not going to put the new larger footprint on that old grading plan. That won't fit.
Okay, so what you have to do, Dave, go to the original NOI report. It's a 16 megabyte file.
Okay.
Which was issued on November 2nd, 2020. And let's see if, I think there should be the existing site plan and the proposed site plan within that document.
Did you see Ed's comment about the septic tank needs to be 10 feet off the house and not sure if the grading plan needs to change because of the larger house?
Right, that's what I saw.
Now, I remember on this project, there was an amended site plan. So we got to make sure we're looking at the correct site plan.
Oh,
Dave, I'm sure you're familiar with this. You know, you get these development projects and there's like 15 versions of the site plan.
oh,
And they almost look alike, but not quite.
right.
And they're really, unless you're really focused, they're really tough to review. Yeah, see, I've got this NOI says site plans, and that's the last document. So the site plan was sent as a separate. I remember now about this. The original site plan was of such poor resolution, we couldn't read the darn thing. So we asked them to have the site plan redrafted at a higher resolution.
Yeah, we
I'm
also
all-
want some graphs of the cut of the road too, I think.
Yeah.
I'm all for
Again, folks-
development, Bill, but the challenge I have with this documentation is and I don't mean any disrespect, but it's very, very sloppy.
I
And
agree.
It's not clear, and I would turn this back to the owner and just ask them if they could clear up if they want to build a different size building, that's fine, but they have to show proper grading. They have to show the proper location for the septic, the leach field, as well as the septic tank, because currently they're showing the footprint of the building on top of the septic tank. And Ed correctly pointed out it needs to be a minimum 10 feet apart. So we can't
Okay.
assume things. We can only make judgment on what they show us.
Right, right. Dave, I would recommend if you would convey that in your minutes And
All right.
we can forward that to the owner. Thank you for that prompt review.
And you're welcome.
But again, I
Can
think
we also,
we ought to
we
hold
also-
off on this one. Because think about it, there's 4 feet of snow on the ground, well, up in
Right.
Plainfield. And they're probably not gonna break ground this month. So I think we're gonna do our due diligence on this one, as we should.
Yeah.
Thank you.
can we also request some like half-size paper copies?
Yeah, 11 by 17, certainly, Amanda, absolutely.
I think that would help a lot because looking at like scans or photographs of map documents is so hard to read on the computer.
Yes, yes.
So I think we need a new grading plan.
Yep, that's part of my request.
Okay, duly noted. Duly noted.
Okay.
I don't think Heather's here. Actually, I think Emily, are you there? Emily did peer review for us. Emily, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Bill?
Now, are you by the swimming pool or are you back north?
Oh, you're hysterical. I am working remotely from out of state, but I am still working. So you're catching me
Good
from
for you.
a
Good for you.
No, you've got to wish her a happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Emily.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Stinson.
The question I have is, I think Emily did a peer review for us on this particular project.
Talk to me a little bit about the project you're discussing.
It was Bachelor Street, Granby. Heather Comey was the consultant. Al Joyce was the owner. It was a long sinuous driveway crossing a couple of wet areas with a house way out back.
Oh, yeah. So not a recent one, but one from last year or the year before, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, so I did do the review of the BVW boundary on that property. It was a winter review, so there were some questions about an area that we observed to be inundated when we're out in the field. And so I believe the commission was going to take a closer look at that driveway crossing.
Yeah, I think we did. I think Ed Chapdelaine went up there prior to our issuance of the permit. We asked them to change a couple of details on the crossing. And now, Emily, what the owner wants to do, or I should say the new prospective homeowner, of course, they want to change the size of the house and the associated grading around the house. And what David and Wenda and Ed duly noted is that we'd like a revised grading plan rather than what they've sent us to date. So we're gonna take a closer look at this.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent decision on the part of the commission. Obviously, I haven't seen the plans that you're discussing, but certainly if there's been a change from what was previously reviewed and approved, you'll want that updated.
Okay, very, very good. Thank you, Emily.
Absolutely.
Okay, Amanda, what's next on the hit parade?
Amanda, you're muted.
Oh, she is.
She's more than muted. Her camera's off too.
Okay, let me see if I can find the agenda. Stand by.
I
It
have
says
it.
request for a certificate of compliance, 6 Phillips Circle.
Okay, that was, I did a cursory review of that. The house is built out, everything's turfed in beautifully. Again, here's another one, Mark. This is another NOI that was issued 25 years ago. And we have so many old NOIs in this town. It's just unfathomable at this point. Anyway, I believe we actually approved this at either the January or actually even the December meeting. So that's
No, we
all
approved it
information.
last meeting and I drafted it and I sent all the drafts to you. Did you get them,
Okay.
Bill?
I did.
So I have both of those RCOCs. Our issue had been the signing part to actually get them out to people.
Okay, and I think I forwarded it to Kathy. I'll just follow up with her. Thank you, Amanda.
Okay.
Okay. What is next?
Through both of those. So that was for 6 Phillips and 16 Aldridge. And now going on to EC 53 Porter Street.
Okay, 53 Porter. I think, Dan, you don't even have to talk on this one. Dan Nietzsche of GZA did a, what I would call a remedial action review. This is the one where they were ejecting sand and silt into the wetlands by dewatering a swimming pool. We issued a EO, and the homeowners and their representatives got on their horse pretty quickly and reportedly got this taken care of. Dan issued a written statement to that effect last meeting. I would still like one of the commissioners or a couple of commissioners to go out there and just take a quick walk around. Maybe that's something we could all do on a Saturday morning.
I kind of have to wait for the snow to go.
We'll see. A Saturday morning. So that's the update on that one.
Okay. So now moving on to the NOI filed by William Chapdelaine for the proposed construction of a single-family house and associated work within the BVW buffer zone with regards to Lot 1 West Street and known as Map 3D1 in the town of Granby. Did we have William Chapdelaine here?
No, I think Heather Comey is the representative for the project. I know there's a couple of folks online here that are abutters. And my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the applicant has elected to continue this until March. Am I correct?
Yeah, Bill, this is Ed Chapley. Yeah, I think he had sent out an email, or had us sent out an email Monday. So he
Okay.
does want to continue.
Okay. We hadn't opened that yet, correct, Ed?
Correct.
Okay, so
yeah, correct.
okay, so if it hasn't been opened, I don't think we should comment whatsoever on it at this point and just move to the next agenda item. Thank you.
Agreed. So
Let me interrupt point of order, Mr. Chair. So was the legal notice placed for the hearing to commence tonight?
I believe it was.
Okay, so you've got to open it, then you'd have to make a motion to continue to the next meeting.
Okay, you're right. And again, I don't have the language in front of me, Mark, but I think I've got it memorized. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wetlands Protection Act of Massachusetts, herein there's a notice of intent submitted by, and I gotta get the appropriate parties here called up. So give me 1 second. William E. Chapdelaine, River Road, South Hadley, for a lot known as Lot 2 West Street, map parcel 3D1 in Granby, Massachusetts. And I do have a butters list. Just make sure it's here. Okay, I have a certified abutters list, which was mailed out on January 19th. And Mark, we don't require return receipts anymore. Is that correct?
It's fine. Certificates of mailing are legally, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyway, again, this is a proposed development, and again, I don't know if this NOI is for both lots or
No,
one.
there's two notices, Bill.
Okay,
One for each lot. It's not a subdivision, it's just a single family house on this one, a single family house on the other one.
okay. Well, I've got lot 2. And let me see if I have lot 1. There it is, I got
That's
it.
the next item on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Anyway, regarding lot 2, based on correspondence with the applicant's consultant, I move that we continue this the 9th of March, 2021.
Second?
I'll second. Dave will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, again, next project. First went to MGL 131, Section 40 in the Wetlands Protection Act of Massachusetts. Notice of intent has been filed by William E. Chapdelaine with respect to Lot 1, West Street, map parcel 3D1, Granby, Massachusetts, for development of a single-family house and associated infrastructure. Same situation. Heather Comey, the consultant, has asked that we continue this on the 9th of March. So I duly move that we elect to continue this project.
Second?
Any discussion?
Discussion.
No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good.
Bill, this is Ed talking.
Yeah, yes,
So
Ed.
point of fact, I just want to make it clear that I'm not related to this William Chapdelaine. I do not know who he is. So if anybody out there who's listening feels there's a conflict of interest because we have the same last name, I can assure you that we are not related by blood.
Okay, thank you. Ed, make sure that's duly noted in the minutes, David.
I will.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, Ed.
Thank you.
Okay, Amanda.
Was someone going to say something?
Bill, I was just gonna ask Bill, I'm gonna reach out to you, Bill, I'm not a stenographer, so I'll reach out to you for the language that you read into the minutes that I couldn't capture, so.
Oh, okay, no worries, no worries. We can discuss that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Okay. Okay, Amanda.
Okay, so next we are moving on to number 10, a continued NOI filed by Eugene and Susan Boardway for a proposed repair to an on-site septic system for an existing single-family house and proposed new well within 50-foot buffer zone with regards to property at 163 Bachelor Street and known as map 10 0C38 in the town of Granby. I believe this was another one that we had already approved. Was it? Yes, so that is a OOSB that has also been drafted.
Okay,
So that has been approved as well.
That's correct. They just put their silt fence up I think last week.
oh, they did, Ed. Okay, good. Yeah, we approved that a long time ago, didn't we?
I'm not sure, but it was after last meeting, I wrote up all the ones that I could.
Yes, no, that was
Yeah,
good.
I don't show we've received that order. It's not listed in the database,
Okay,
so it needs to be sent, EDEP there.
okay. Yeah, the applicant signed it on the 31st of December of last year, or not December, October. And Kevin signed it on the 17th of November, so I'm guessing it probably appeared on our December agenda. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, but we have a plan for getting these all signed and sent out, right? Because there's a whole list of ones that were approved and written up.
Yeah, we'll forward them to Kathy, and then Kathy will sign on our behalf.
Okay. Whatever has to happen to get these out.
No, that's right.
Uh,
Very, very good.
All right, so on to the next one is another continued NOI filed by Alfred Martin for a proposed repair on-site septic system with retaining wall and associated grading in the buffer zone of a bordering vegetated wetland with regards to property located at 56 Harris Street and known as map 13B19 in the town of Granby. This is another one that has been completed, approved, and just needs to be issued. So moving on to the next one is a continued RDA filed by Raymond Sherink, I don't know how to pronounce that, to see whether work depicted on the plans and or maps referenced are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act or any municipal wetlands ordinance or bylaw of the town of Granby with regards to property located at 68 Harris Street and known as map 13B in the town of Granby. And once more, that has been completed. The DOA was already approved and ready to be issued. The next order is a continued NOI filed by the applicant NStar Electric DBA Eversource, owner Eversource ROW, with proposed replacement of 47 structures along the 1113 line right of way, transversing area north to southwest from Bay Road Amherst to E Street South Hadley. 17 of the proposed structures have proposed permanent or temporary impacts in wetlands, buffer zones, and or riverfront areas located in the town of Granby. This has not been closed out yet.
Right. Very good, Amanda. I think Emily's here and Dan's here and Mary's here. Hello, folks.
Good evening.
Hi.
So I'll let Emily, Dan, and Mary discuss this, and we'll just stand by, I guess, for a little bit. Go ahead, Emily.
Okay.
That's yours.
I got my gloves on, Emily.
Thank you, Bill, for that introduction. So I believe at the last public hearing, we brought the commission up to speed that I was able to spend some time in the field with Dan to review some specific areas within the project site along the line as directed by the Conservation Commission. And we were able to provide a series of comments in advance of the last public hearing. In the interim, it's my understanding that GZA has had an opportunity to respond to those comments and to update the notice of intent plans to reflect changes that were made in the field based on the peer review. Perhaps a good way to proceed, if possible, would be to have Dan share screen. I don't know if we can project plans. Is that a possibility with the go-to meeting?
Can I just
Unfortunately, not.
click the screen thing at the bottom?
There is a button at the bottom says screen, share screen.
Right, but it says that, and it says ask organizer to make you presenter.
I think Granby policy is not to use that feature.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I think I would ask the commission to just refer to the most recent submittal from GZA, which I believe came by email last week. Does everyone on the commission have a copy of that submittal?
What was the date of submittal, Emily?
Hold on just a moment.
Thank you.
I have a February 4th date.
All right, let's take a look.
Yeah, Emily, you were as far as I can tell, you were the only one who downloaded that because it was a large file. So you were the only one who asked to download.
Okay. That required like Dropbox. That required a Dropbox lookalike platform. Okay, I did not download that at this point.
Okay.
So why don't you brief us on it, Emily?
So this was a fairly substantial review Dan and I spent the good part of a day. We were able to tackle the whole project area before we completely lost the sunlight. And there were several pages of comments that I was able to prepare and that GZA has worked diligently to respond to. I'm happy to go through those one by one if that would be helpful to the commission. Perhaps it's the only way to do that if no one else has had an opportunity to review these materials.
The question is, how long will it take, Emily, to go through it in an abbreviated fashion, and how long would it take in a picayune fashion?
I think you're on the same page with me, Bill, in that I'm trying to grasp exactly how much discussion the commission would like to have on this. I think it is important that the commissioners download or get hard copies of the response and the revised plan. A number of the questions were simply clarifying questions that we posed to Eversource in regards to topics such as required size for new permanent gravel pads, required, presented as required tree clearing. But there were also some other changes to jurisdictional areas. For example, there were some new bordering vegetated wetlands that were delineated in the field, and the plans were revised accordingly. There was an observed channel that was deemed to be, Dan, feel free to chime in, but was ultimately deemed to be jurisdictional. And
Yeah,
so
wetland 140, right?
Thank you. And so that revision was made, and subsequently revisions were made to work within that area. There was a question that I had posed about what was portrayed as an approximated riverfront area, which was revisited by GZA with a more formal boundary, which shifted our riverfront area boundary. So there are a number of changes to the site plan that was originally submitted with the notice of intent. One,
If I may chime in, Emily, just one quick question. Emily, you had mentioned that a lot of flags were not numbered in the field. They were simply blue ribbons on vegetation.
We actually did all right on this one, Bill. I think that may have been another site that I was reviewing. On this particular line, we were able to ascertain the labels they were all legible. The only issue we ran into is there were a couple of wet meadow ecosystems which tend to be mowed by adjacent landowners or were in agricultural use, and in those instances flags were missing from the field.
Okay.
But the flags that were in the field we could read the labels on.
Okay, the question I had, Dan, how did you go about locating the flags on your plans? Did you use GPS or overland survey or aerial photography? How did you do that?
GPS, we use a variety of different GPS units, fairly accurate. I think that all the flags that were missing, that Emily found missing in the wet meadow, have been replaced since that walk. I mean, that was within a week. And just so you know, with Eversource, they reflag everything before work begins. And if this work doesn't begin for 8 months or a year, we'll be looking at it again to make sure that all the flags are refreshed at that
point. Okay. So did GZA do the locating of the flags, or I saw BSC Corporation out there? Are they working with you on this project?
Not
BSC
working with us. They're working on another Eversource project. They're not working on this particular line. But at GZA, we did all the GPS work.
Okay, so you did it in-house. Okay, you did in-house
Yes.
GPS. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Yep. And so I guess what I would say, Emily, is are you comfortable with the plan changes that we've provided to adequately address what we discussed in the field and concerns that you've mentioned? I mean, just specifically the plans.
Yeah, so that's an excellent question, Dan. At this point, I'm still awaiting authorization from the Granby Conservation Commission for further scope. You may recall that with this particular peer review, there was a very defined scope with very limited hours, and that didn't include subsequent review. So I certainly have your materials, and obviously I gave them a cursory review in preparation of this evening, but I'm still waiting for authorization from the commission as to what fashion they would like me to proceed moving forward with a peer review.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Emily, we can chit chat on the telephone later this week about this, but thank you for the review tonight, the cursory review.
So it seems like we're gonna continue this hearing, it seems like.
Yeah,
We're
Dan,
not-
it sounds as if,
because
here's
you guys
what I'd
haven't had
like
a
to have.
chance
What I'd like to have happen is I'd like to vote on this next meeting.
Okay,
Okay, so
We-
I want to bring Emily on board for a few more hours. And in the meantime, the rest of the commissioners can download your large file and take a look at things with our own eyes, but we're going to rely upon Emily primarily for the technical review.
Okay.
And we still have to work out, the compensatory, not storage, but compensatory riverfront
Monetary
resource
compensation.
mitigation. Yeah, the mitigation, negotiated mitigation solution. Let me just put it
Right.
that way. So that still has to be worked out as well. So I think our assignment for the 9th of March will be work out the details of what we want to do on the mitigation end for the riverfront disturbance, and get Emily on board to finish up the technical review, provide some final technical comments. And then at that point, we'll all have had enough time to look at our end of it and issue a permit for you next time.
that'd be great. I mean, if we could facilitate with Emily to move that forward the next couple of weeks, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
That you guys, so we'd have everything ready.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Emily, where you're located remotely, you have that information. So wherever you might be in the world, Tahiti or the Fiji Islands, you can work on this at that location.
Yes, that's correct. I already have the materials downloaded. I'm perfectly capable of my remote location to continue with the
Very
review.
good.
I was just looking for authorization. This particular peer review had a very defined scope with a very specific number of hours, and so I was just looking for the authorization from the commission. But certainly happy to continue on, and certainly have plenty of availability to meet a deadline prior to the March 9th meeting. I would encourage the commission to download the materials that GZA has provided. They've done a really nice job of incorporating my comments right into the document, so you can really read along what my comments were and what their response is.
Okay.
I would add one other task to the commission's list, if I may. You may recall from my last presentation during the last public hearing, I did observe what appears to be a wetland violation on the right-of-way and abutting lands in the vicinity of number 244 Amherst Road.
Mm-hmm.
GZA has responded that the activities within the right-of-way, Dan, I'm paraphrasing again, are not associated with Eversource. But Eversource has gone ahead and amended their proposed work in that area. So if and when the commission issues an enforcement order to the landowner or the party responsible for the violation, Eversource is of the opinion that any restoration within that area will not have complications with their proposed work zone. So that was a question that came up during the previous hearing, whether or not we needed to address wetland restoration and define that in order for Eversource to move forward through that right of way.
Okay.
But oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, just one point of interest. On my route to Amherst, up to Atkins a couple of times a week, driving on Aldridge Street heading west, at the transmission line right of way, I look to the south and I see a bunch of junk vehicles parked out in the right of way. I think by looking at the mapping and what I viewed the other day, I think that is one and the same. And there's a
Yes,
lot
it
of
is.
vehicles there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff there. There's a
If
lot.
you're looking at it from Aldrich over the pond towards that way, that's the property.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
Mark-
also very visible on the satellite imagery, and it comes up on the DEP wetland change overlay as well.
It does. Okay. Mark, are you available to take a look at this maybe on Google Earth?
Mark, you're muted.
Open your mic, Mark. Open your mic, please.
Yeah, this site looks familiar. It looks like I gave this to you a couple years ago. I mean, it's actually spreading across two properties. One at 244 Amherst Street, and then right next to it on, there's no number, but it's listed as Aldrich Street, owned by J&L Realty Management. It's right in the right of way, yeah. I'll send you the pictures, Bill.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll have to figure out how, but again, this is a sticky wicket because we've got Eversource operating transmission lines on the property. But again,
Right, but they didn't do it though.
That's right. That's right. They didn't do it, and they're not the fee owner of the property itself. So,
Right.
so we'd have to go after the property owner. Okay, yeah, send that along. Thank you, and thanks everybody for bringing that to our attention.
Thanks,
We are-
Emily.
just for
dropped the ball on that.
And just also in our response to Emily brought that up in her comments, so we have a response to that, clearing it up. Just for one point, we on the DB change layers, we configured our work so it's not on the changed area. So in case a restoration were to happen or any sort of enforcement, we are not in an area of concern that we, at least that we can
Okay.
tell based on the mapping. Just want
Good.
to be clear on folks when you read that. But we have responses to all of Emily's comments. You guys should definitely take a look at that. Look at our revised maps as well.
Okay,
If
thank
anyone
you.
can, please let me know right away, and I'll make sure to get you a new link to get into.
Okay, thank you.
The link is still active because I downloaded it just now.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Well, during this conversation, but yes, still working.
Anything else? I mean, we're going to continue to the 9th of March. Okay.
I move we continue till 9 March at 7 p.m. Same station.
Okay, and just Emily, if there's anything that comes up, or even Bill or any member, if there's something that comes up quickly, like a quick point on a response, just let us know right away. We'll try to. You know,
I will. And again, I apologize for not being on top of this, and you can imagine the workload that we have in this day and age. But thank you so much.
We appreciate it, Bill. Thank you very much to the rest of the commission as well.
Okay, Emily, thank you so much. Mary, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good evening.
Okay. All right. So again, I move we go till the 9th of March at 7 p.m.
I
A second.
Yep, second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Have a good month. We'll see you in March.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Bill, I'm going to stay put because I think you need me for an item coming up later in the agenda.
Yeah, yes, we do. Another discussion point for us. I just found disguised in Kathy's submittal. There's two emails. One is called W1R5.pdf and the other is W2R1.pdf. Well, believe it or not, those are the Bachelor Street grading plans that I think those are the original base plans. So if you guys have W1R5, W2R1 in your laundry list of files, take a look at those. And those are the original grading plans for that lot on Bachelor Street.
I have those, Bill.
Yeah, I just opened them and found out what they were. They weren't terribly descriptive.
No, they're not.
Oh, that's great. Okay, Amanda, what do we have next?
So up next, oh, sorry, you got me distracted and I opened something else.
We're up to
I have like
14.
8 million PDF tabs open, so I'm like, where's the agenda? So up next, we have a continued NOI that I'm pretty sure was
Nathan,
canceled. I can't think, withdrawn. I think that was withdrawn, filed by Nathan Booton for proposed driveway culvert with regards to property located on Center Street and known as map 8A10 in the town of Granby.
Okay, I believe that is not withdrawn. I think Don Frederick, the engineer, has requested that we continue that.
Oh,
Okay.
That's my understanding. I could be wrong.
I thought
Amanda.
I heard that it was up for sale or something.
Yeah, I think they want to continue attempting to permit it. So let's not kill that one at this point. I
What was this one again, Bill and Amanda?
This
what was
is
it?
Center Street, Granby. Emily did a peer review for us. It's a wet meadow.
here, Muddy Brook.
Yes,
Oh, is that the one I issued a file number 4340?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, yeah,
It's a very wet field.
okay,
So,
yeah, that was Don Frederick.
so Bill, this is Emily, if I may. I just wanted to provide the commission with an update. I received a phone call last week by a woman who was interested in purchasing this lot. She had a number of questions for me in regards just in general to wetlands and what have you. I advised her that I was working as a peer reviewer for the commission and that to the best of my knowledge, this was an open notice of intent for a current proposed project. She had gotten my name from, I believe, Mr. Fredericks as well as Mr. Brooks. I advised her that if she was interested in the parcel and perhaps a project of her own, that she reach out to another wetlands consultant to help her through the process. She seemed fairly familiar with where the notice of intent stood with the commission. I believe she had viewed some of the recorded meetings in the past. But again, I just reiterated what was of public record and let her know that as far as I was aware, it was still an open notice of intent and that it had simply been continued.
Okay, I think I received several phone calls to that same effect, Emily. Thank you. And I think Ms. Abbott, are you online? Would you open your mic up, please? Nita Abbott? Hello, Nita. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Okay, good. Now, did you call Emily last week?
Yes, Gail told me to
Okay.
call her.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, again, I would, again, reiterating what Emily says, and I'm sure the commission will agree. Emily's working for the commission as our internal technical peer reviewer. And we urge you to hire your own wetlands
Yeah,
consultant acting on your behalf.
Yeah, if I decide to go that way, look at the property anymore, I would definitely do that. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming to the meeting tonight. It was good.
Oh yeah, I love watching the meetings. Thanks.
Yeah. Good to see you virtually. Very good. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Emily.
You're welcome.
So again, I move that we continue this till the 9th of March.
Second.
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 All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, great. Moving on to the next. This is a long time continued project for an NOI filed by Mike P.O. PC Development and LLC for proposed construction of a residential subdivision and associated stormwater management structures. The roadway will require a wetland fill and open channel crossing with regards to property located on Carver Street and known as map 16B 15.4 and 16 in the town of Granby.
Okay, this is the Munsing Ridge Phase 2. Mark, you may be familiar. This is the one that we negotiated a conservation restriction through your office, Dave Fowlis, and DEP Boston. And
I have not issued a file number yet for this, right?
Okay, yeah, well, again, we're cleaning up the COC from the project that commenced 20 years ago. This is a long time finishing up. But anyway, the bottom line is, once that conservation restriction is signed, sealed, and delivered, and it's in the process of delivery now, then we can move forward with this next phase of the project.
Okay.
And just,
Approval of, Dave and Dave to even review initial.
yeah, and just as a precursor to others that aren't familiar with the project, it's on paper, it's a proposed 76 lot subdivision, which I think will be the largest subdivision in the history of Granby.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's way up on the hill
All
on
I
the
can say
Belchertown
is
line.
I don't want to get stuck with a disaster after the last one.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Yeah,
So we definitely got to set up an escrow account for this one.
oh, yes, oh, yeah, if Emily's listening, there's gonna be plenty of peer review hours on this one, Emily.
And the fact that my husband wrote there was supposed to be monthly water testing out there to make sure the brook was safe, that never happened. And that has been brushed aside.
I think that's being cleared up with David Gallis and the clean water quality stuff.
Okay, so, Amanda, are we required to continue this? I suspect so.
I mean,
So I move we
haven't received anything from them in a long time, so I don't know if we necessarily have to, but I think we should, especially if that's almost cleared up.
Yeah, I move we continue this till the 9th of March.
Second,
Discussion,
Yes.
all in favor? Aye,
I,
opposed? No. Very good, thank you.
okay, moving on to our wonderful gravel permits. As Bill mentioned earlier, we did finish off one over a couple weekends ago, the Naraki, 2 of their sites, and they were approved. So that covers us for this year and catches us up from the last couple years.
And was
do
that
we
the
have-
one that we could find a phone number for?
Yes, that would be the one.
Yeah, Kathy,
He almost
Kathy
show up
Kathy
because he almost
performed her
went.
magic and got a hold of him.
Yeah, but he almost went out on his like snowmobile instead of meeting with us, but his friends bailed on him,
That's right. That's
so he
right.
showed up.
That's right. No, that was good. Very good. Excellent. Okay.
Do we need to make plans to visit the others? Because it is a new year.
That's true. We have to go to Orleans and we have to go to Ondricks.
I
And is there
propose
another
we
one?
go when we can see things.
Yeah, obviously, let's wait for the snow to melt. So let's plan on doing this in the spring. Good point.
Do we know what's happening with that solar installation on Lion Street that crosses from Granby to Ludlow?
It's not happening. We chatted with him about it. The electrical company did not consider the cost of the upgrades to actually have all the electrical system connect into the grid, or however you explain it. It ended up being way more money than it was worth, so they pulled out.
Yeah, unbelievable that they would go through all the engineering and permitting and find out they couldn't make sense of the interconnect cost. That should have been the first thing they looked at. Oh, well, it's the way things go.
Yep. All right, so our next hearing is a continued RDA filed by Ashley Bowman, applicant, to see whether the area/work depicted on plans and or map reference are subject to the Wetlands Protection Act with regards to property located on Bachelor Street and known as Lot 6 on Plan Book 244, page 105 in the town of Granby.
Now, this one, Amanda, is one that I'm always scratching my head on because nobody ever shows up on behalf of it, and we've had it on the agenda for months now.
Okay, yeah, I have no idea what this one is. Follow-up note with, is anyone here for this permit hearing in the audience?
Ashley Bowman, representative, please. Was it an NOI or an RDA, Amanda?
RDA.
Yeah, see, that's, if it was an NOI, at least Mark would have the answer.
Yep.
No, I can't.
push it into
Okay.
old business.
What was the RDA for?
I think there was was it a, I don't know if it was a new house or septic repair or what this was.
It looks like it was sent to us on October 13th, 2020. Or not sent to us, but it was on the first agenda on
Okay.
October 13th, 2020.
Let me see then. Oh, okay, I've got, all right, let's see, look at this one here. No, that's Lee Lalonde. Zone 1 requirements. See,
We were not sent a copy of the RDA. I don't have it.
Yeah, no, I can't even find it. Oh, here's a legal ad, but this is August 20th, 25th. No, that's Giuliano's Pools. Have no information whatsoever on this.
Yeah, I guess we just need to circle back with Kathy.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
can't find anything in my emails from her either.
yeah. Let me take a look at the agenda for the 13th. Yeah, here it is. It's number 10 on the 13th of October's agenda.
Yep.
Yeah, it's lot 6, plan book 244, page 105. So it's known as lot 6. So it sounds like it's a new development. It's a new build out. Oh, Bachelor Street. I know which one this was. I think this is one, I think Al Weiss worked on it. It was near one of Al Weiss's projects, and I think they may have bailed on the project.
Mhm.
It's another one that was fairly close to the power line right of way. It's within a few hundred feet of it. Yeah, I think that project just disappeared. So Mark, opinion for you on an RDA. If an RDA has been lingering and there's been no action, what's our options?
Take no action. I mean, legally speaking, you're supposed to issue a determination within 21 days of receipt of the application.
Mm-hmm.
So by failing to act, so there's on day 22, someone can appeal for lack of action, but they lose their right to appeal 70 days after the 21.
Oh,
So if you're at day 92 from when receipt, I mean, legally speaking, you can do nothing and there's no appeal on it.
okay. Again, I think what we've been doing historically is continuing this. Why don't we just continue it one more time? Maybe do a little bit of research, find out what the heck is going on. Maybe maybe we get Kathy to call Ashley Bowman and see if they're going to push forward with this. And if not, we can take it off the books.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so I move that we continue this one till the 9th of March.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
All right, here we go. Next one, continued NOI filed by Daniel Crapenese for the
Yes.
proposed construction of a single-family dwelling with lawn and associated grading within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland with regards to property located at 0 Phillip Street and known as map 4B 2.9 11B in the town of Granby.
Okay, thank you. Emily, you're back on stage.
All right. Thank you for the introduction. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going back and forth between the GoToMeeting screen and my PDF. So I was able to spend a beautiful day in Granby back on January 22nd. where I made a site visit to review the wetland delineation flags that were in the field and are also depicted on the site plan that was submitted for the notice of intent. There were a total of 12 wetland flags observed in the field, and those coincided with the site plans that had been submitted. Hold on just a moment. Based
And I
on
think-
oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, I think you and I think we both looked at the US Fish and Wildlife overlay on Google, and I think they lined up with that pretty much as well, didn't it, Emily?
Yeah, that is correct. So the wetland complex that is located within the subject parcel also spans to the north and south, and it's of a size that it ends up being mapped both on the National Wetland map that Bill reviewed, as well as the Mass DEP mapping. But there is a limit of scale associated with those reference maps. And going out in the field, I observed dominant wetland plant community as well as hydric soils outside of the flagged boundary in 2 key locations. And those locations were in the vicinity of wetland flag 4 through 6, as well as an area to the north of wetland flag 1. I was on the site solo for a good chunk of the inspection, but Mr. Neil Jackson was able to join me for the latter part of my time in the field. And at that time, I was able to discuss my observations with Mr. Jackson. He referenced the town of Granby Board of Health regulations regarding on-site septic systems. It's my understanding from reviewing those regulations myself that the town of Granby requires that any septic tank or leaching facility be installed greater than 100 feet from a wetland. So because of the observations that I made in the field, Mr. Jackson was going to work with his wetland delineator to have the boundary revisited, and he anticipated needing a redesign of the proposed on-site septic.
Okay, for the record, I'm recused on this one, and I think we have enough members to pick up the slack on this one, so I'm not going to opine. Wenda, Amanda, I think Amanda, you've been out there, haven't you?
I have. I had gone out there and I had believed that the wetlands went beyond where they were delineated to be. And it was kind of a tricky site for me to determine where the boundary would be myself. So that was why I recommended we hire an outside peer review.
Yeah, so this was definitely a little trickier. I agree, Amanda, as far as where the flagging was, where the mapped wetlands are, and where the actual hydrophytes and hydric soils were located. So in my peer review letter that went out earlier this month, I did provide the details on where I thought those adjustments should be made. I also noted that the whole complex, the whole wetland complex, continues to extend to the north, and it's really right along the property line, the easterly property line. So there's actually additional 100-foot buffer zone that projects into the subject parcel from the adjacent property. And I did make Mr. Jackson aware of that as well. And then the last observation that I would summarize is I did observe what appears to be a small isolated wetland off of the property to the north. So this parcel is primarily an agricultural field within the southerly portion of a larger lot, which is my understanding has been divided into 2. Does that sound right to you, Amanda?
I believe so.
Yeah, so the isolated wetland is actually on the adjacent field to the north. So Mr. Jackson had conveyed to me that that was not a property owned by his client, but you could certainly see the the hydrophytes from the property line, as well as significant inundation and microtopography, although we are outside of growing season, so inundation isn't a great indicator, but it was observable from afar. Yeah, so those were really my main concerns, because that wetland boundary, particularly near flags 4 through 6, truly does extend further to the west. That's got to be revisited, and it's going to result in a redesign of the septic system. And I was expecting that maybe Mr. Jackson would be in attendance this evening. Is there anyone here this evening on behalf of the applicant?
It's
That's
not.
not what the no.
So, Mark, is it acceptable for the commission to simply continue this? Doesn't seem like there's an applicant here to request it, but that was my impression during the site visit, that someone would be requesting a continuance.
Most commissions would give the applicant a benefit of the doubt and continue it.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll make
I
a
would-
motion to
Yeah.
continue this to March 9th.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 I'm recused on this for the record. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, real good.
Okay, Bill, I think that was my last agenda item for this evening. As far as my homework assignments moving forward, once we get all the authorizations in place, am I good to go with the Eversource review?
Yes, I'll telephone you in the next couple of days. We can discuss the scope of your continued work, Emily. You're doing a great job for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that is a lengthy review. I think I had about 20 comments on that, and Eversource responded to all of them. So I do, again, encourage the commission to review those materials in advance of the March 9th meeting. And it sounds like everything else has been continued as well. So as always, if you need me, please just give me a call or shoot me an email.
Okay, thank
Have
you
you
so
sent
much.
a new proposal to us?
I had sent an estimate to Bill. I was thinking it was only going to take a few more hours, but it would be helpful for me to understand what the commission's looking for with the Eversource review. If you're looking for a review and meeting attendance, or if you're also looking for a technical report, a second report. If we can just hash out that scope, I can let you know what I estimate for the hours.
Okay. We'll
And I
come up
think-
with a game plan.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Amanda.
Right?
I'm sorry.
For the last bill tonight.
Yeah, I think we want Emily, obviously, to attend the next online meeting. I'd like at least a short memorandum, a bullet point memorandum of findings and any corrective action that needs to be taken. And again, the other thing on behalf of the town proper is we do have to come up with the proper mitigation compensation package commensurate with the work they're doing in town.
Also, could I add that if there are any conditions that you think would be appropriate, if you could pose them to us for consideration? For the
Absolutely, Amanda. I did include a few in my initial review that I believe Eversource responded to, so I'll definitely revisit them. And I will also look at the revised site plan with an eye towards any special conditions.
Okay, thank you so much. Just because, as you can see, we're all kind of trying to keep up with everything, but there's a lot. So all of your help is greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, happy to help you guys. Thank you for all of your hours. and all the
Okay,
work that
thanks,
you guys
Emily.
do.
All the
Take
best.
care.
Thank you so much.
care.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Okay, so next thing on the agenda is Burnett Street / West Street concerns. I believe this was originally posed when someone was first looking to work on that West Street parcel, which will soon be before us. We've continued it. Those West Street areas.
I'm just trying to think. Oh, that wasn't Dakota Richards. That project's been closed out. Which
Oh,
one
I
is
thought
this,
it was-
Amanda?
I thought this was the time when like they first started looking at this area to develop, and they saw someone cutting trees or something, and they got concerned that it was going to be developed, so they started complaining before any permit came to us.
Yeah, but it's not near Burnett Street. It's at the corner of Crescent Street and West Street.
Okay.
So how does that agenda item read?
I don't know. It's an older one, and I might be confused about it.
Okay, no worries.
Is this the people that went and got the cutting plan, for the wetland? No,
I don't
near
think
New
so.
Ludlow Road, this isn't it, right?
No, the cutting plan was on East Street.
Oh yeah, that's the fellow on the corner of East and Truby on the northwest quadrant of that intersection. Yes, he did get a forest cutting plan. Yes.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
Yep.
I haven't seen it, but at least someone's reviewing it.
Yeah.
So I believe that is all of our stuff. But
9
I
o'clock
would like to
sharp.
propose a new concept for the commission. What if we start requesting hard copies of things as well as PDF digital submissions of all of these documents so that we can make sure everyone has the materials? Because searching through these emails, all of the attachments are called weird things. I have a folder of 16 items for tonight's meeting, and none of the titles make any sense.
Well,
So
you know,
opening everything.
that's a really good point, because I spent 3 hours on a couple of my computers over the past couple of days, because I have a lot of engineering documents, which you're right, they have these nonsensical names. And
Yeah.
unless you open them up and look at them, you don't know what the heck they are. And again, case in point, that W5-1, that W2-3 or whatever, they should at least put down the owner's name and the location. We should have some sort of unified methodology for labeling PDFs. I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, and we can't expect Kathy to like manage all of that because it's so much. And
Right.
Framingham has an actual like a checklist of things for applicants to look at, and it's like, you know, provide 9 copies of the document, provide half-size plans, 17 by 11 plans for all the commissioners. Kind of just get all of those things in by a certain date so that it's prepared before the meeting and it has time to get to the commission.
Yeah.
So I can
Mark,
use their template as an
No,
example.
that's good. Good point. Mark, I don't know if you're aware, Amanda's working for the commission in Framingham.
Yes, I just started.
So that brings a lot to the table for us. No, she's got an excellent job in Framingham now. Oh,
If he's frozen,
yeah, he's frozen in time.
He probably
Hear me
stepped in.
now?
Yes.
now we can hear you.
Okay. So did you ask me a question, Bill?
Oh, no, I was just a point of discussion that Amanda is now working for the city or town of Framingham, Mass.
Oh, congratulations, Amanda.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
so she's learning, her learning curve is nice and steep now, and she's bringing a lot back to Granby. So it's really, really neat that she's doing this.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else for tonight?
I do not believe so. I think we're all
Okay.
done.